conservative boundary of this control flow graph. And in control flow graph testing, it is the condition is we can check even we can analyze even the conditions. So in the control flow graph, branch testing is very important. Whether all the branches will select a true and false path, we have to check all the branch conditions at least once. And for example, here if you write first thing and second thing, the code that makes mistake is row follows. For example, instead of all condition, if you put and condition, that's wrong done by the programmer that can be found only when you test that branch statement, whether it is true or false. So this all the branches are at least test once. So third test under the control flow graph is the domain testing. So domain testing follows the linear inequality. So this testing is allow us to find the mistakes of the programmer or the syntax mistakes of the programmer. For example, the line is j is less than or equal to I plus 1. We test the inequality with 3 test points. The first is very correct. Actually, if it is j is less than or equal to I plus 1, first diagram, if this is a condition, if the program is written correctly, then the test will be correct. If the second error is he has done 2I plus 1, then the area bounding coverage will be different and linear inequality will be there, so that this will fail. Similarly, here the condition is I is greater than or equal to I minus 1 at that time also. This is false. So by this checking using a linear inequality, you can find the syntax mistakes of the programmer. So drawback of control flow graph testing is the potential problem with the path coverage is the path chosen to cover the control flow graph may not have a important relationship to the program functions. When you started to check all the control flow graph, it will not start to check the program functions properly. So to overcome this problem, we are going with data flow testing. So in the data flow testing, we are using define use analysis. So in define use analysis, we have two parameters. C use is a computational usage parameter and predicted usage parameter. And def use pair is defined the variable value and use of that value. And this analysis is performed using the iteration algorithm. For example of data flow analysis is loop-centric testing method. So under this loop-centric testing method, we can see the first for loop. Okay. So in this, while we are testing using loop-centric testing method, we'll skip the loop entry. Only one iteration we will test, or two iterations we will test. So upper bound, we will check the upper bound and the lower bound. In between, we want analysis. What is this upper bound and lower bound? For example, I starts from 0. So we will really check the 0. And I is less than equal to terminating condition. So we will check the terminating condition also. In between, we'll check only one value. So checking of 3 values is enough. First value, last value, and the in between value, it's enough within the range. Next we will check out of the range in the starting value and in the ending value. So this type of testing is enough with respect to data flow graph testing. When you go with so this is about the clear box testing. So under the clear box testing, we have seen about control flow graph testing and data flow graph testing. Okay. Next is about the black box testing. So black box testing is you don't know what we are going to test, which program structure we are going to test. Only with respect to giving the input, we will see whether the output is reached or not. And if the output is not reached, then we will search the bug using the clear bug tester. Again, the black box testing alone will not work out without going with the clear box testing. Okay, so one important technique is we have to specify certain input. We'll give the certain input and check the output. If the test is not matched with the output, then we have to go with the clear box testing with the control path and check it. Okay, there are some thumb rules for this black box testing. So thumb rules are we cannot test every possible input combinations. First one. Secondly, we have to go test at least reasonable set of inputs. Third things we have to test within the range and out of range. Okay, and when the input can range across the set of values, it's a good idea to test the end of the range. Okay, for example, it is 1 to 10 months, we have to check 1, 0, 10, 11. So testing this is enough. Next thing is called as random testing. So random testing is one type of black box testing, and we are computing independently this test. A large number of tests can be applied and we can find the output and check whether the program is working correctly for any test of random input, and for selecting the random test input we write a program for it. Next is the rejection test. So rejection test. So what is this test is? For example, we are testing some softwares for a mobile. So in case of mobile, I have a Galaxy M3. Then there's a Galaxy M2. So what I will do when I am going to design M3 itself, I am going to just modify the design of M2, Galaxy M2. So already Galaxy M2 is tested. So whatever test I have created for Galaxy M2, I can check with the Galaxy M3. Only what are the latest revisions I have done, that alone I have to give important things in the new test. So the old, we have to check one thing. If there is any old bug reported, you have to check the old bug. Else we can check only the new thing. But in case the M2 has some bug and that has not been explored, again M3 will have that bug if we go for a previous version testing. That is one thing. Next is, for example, signal processing algorithms are frequently implemented with a limited range of arithmetic to save the hardware cost. So in that case, we go for repeatedly same type of testing. Next is evaluation of function test. So how can we stop the testing? How much testing is enough? When we can stop the testing? So when we can stop the testing is when we have the analysis of coverage of test. Okay, so there's a two well-known program for coverage. One is text, other is AVAC. For example, if you are going for a text, the block testing must be 85%, decision testing must be 72%, pre-use is predicted use, data flow. This first two is for control flow, second two is the data flow. Predicted use 53%, computational use 48%. If this is the range of testing, then we take a text. AVAC testing means 70, 59, 48 and 55. So if this amount of testing is enough, we say according to the researchers or according to the journal paper published. So thank you. Again, we'll have a recap of our testing. So what is program validation and testing? To find the bugs of our program. So what are the ways to find the bugs of our program is testing. We have two types of testing. What is black box testing and the clear box testing. Under the clear box testing, we have the testing with respect to control flow graph and data flow graph. Under the control flow graph, we have drudgery testing. So that is the debugging code. Another thing is we have it's a normal path of clear box testing. Next, we have a graphical theory testing. Under the graphical theory, we are going for the cyclomatic complexity. After cyclomatic complexity, we are seeing about the control flow oriented testing. Under control flow oriented testing, we are seeing about the branch testings and domain testing. These under the control flow graph testing. Under the data flow graph testing, we are seeing the domain testing. We are seeing the domain testing, loop-centric testing method. After that, under black box testing, we are saying that it is tested without knowing the program structure. We do the random test and regression test under the black box testing. After that, how much testing is enough for a program is given by text and AVAC program by a IEEE paper, and this is the range of it. So how much testing is enough we can find by this. Thank you. Meet you in the next video.